Okay, so this is going to be an instructional / overview video of this brand new Laika Kosmo L409. First of all, we're going to go around the external of the motorhome and then we will go into the habitation area. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to open the bonnet. Two reasons for this: one, so you know how to open the bonnet, and then two, I'm going to show you the terminal points in case you need to jump start the vehicle for any reason. So to open the bonnet, what you need to do is come around to the passenger door, and then if you open the passenger door, you will see at the side of the dash the bonnet release catch. All you need to do, pull that down once and that will then release. Also, while we are in the cab area, driver and passenger door do have blackout blinds, and what you need to do is pinch this tab, slide the blind across, and then they meet at the end on a magnetic strip. Same on the front windscreen, there is a tab here. What you slide across, they will meet in the middle again on a magnetic strip and join together. Underneath the passenger seat, you'll see we have your 12 volt system. So this is where your 12 volt fuses are. So if anything blows in the vehicle on the 12 volt side, this is where you need to come. So as you can see, I've now got access to the bonnet area. And like I said, the main reason is to show you the terminal points in case you need to jump start the vehicle. So down here, we have your negative terminal point, and then your positive will be down here, which is under this black cover. So that will be your positive terminal point just there. So that's in case you need to jump start the vehicle for any reason. Also under here we have your screen wash fill, which is in front of the driver. So now we are going to carry around the external of the motorhome and we will continue on the passenger side. So at the side of the passenger door, we have a small compartment here, which is going to be your diesel fill and AdBlue fill. So the top one is your diesel fill, which you need to use your vehicle blade key to access, and then just below is your AdBlue fill, which is on a screw cap. The next compartment we come to is going to be your gas locker. So once you've got this open, to make it easier, Laika have created this compartment which you can then pull down, and then you can obviously fit your two LPG tanks inside there. So you can probably get in there 11 kilograms, but if you want to get smaller, that is great. Then that connects onto your gas regulator at the top. As this is a brand new vehicle, it comes with an LPG hose already. Here we have your boiler flue. So this is where the fumes exhaust from when the boiler is running on gas, and also it does get quite hot. Next compartment is going to be your external barbecue point, so your gas point. So all you need is a quick release connection which goes on the end there to your appliance, and then you can turn on the gas tap there. Obviously this will only work if you turn on the gas and the LPG tanks. Directly below that we have your grey waste drain valve, and to drain it you just need this little handle, and basically it goes onto the bar there. You twist it like so, and then the contents of the grey waste will drain straight out underneath the motorhome. You just need to make sure you are over a grid for this. And then the last compartment is in the is at the rear, which is your garage. You get quite a large garage space on this. As you can see, you could probably actually squeeze a motorbike in here, but yeah, you can obviously got a lot of storage in here. We've got tie down rails on each side. As you can see, you've got eye hole hoops here which undo, slide along the rail so you can tie down things. Also it is heated in here as well, so you've got heating ducts, vent duct there, some storage in the middle, and you've got some storage on the other side, as well as that is where the freshwater tank is. So that is the garage. We have got a reverse camera up there as well. One thing to keep in mind is when you are reversing, the cameras are a bit more deceiving than a car camera. When you're looking on the camera, it looks like you're quite close to stuff, and most of the time you are. Now on the driver's side, again, garage, a bit lower down so you could get stuff in quite easier. Got a garage light. Always turn this off, because if you turn the 12 volt system on in the habitation and this is left on, it will always stay on. Got a 3-pin 230 volt socket, so that will work when you're connected to mains hookup. So if you've got anything you need to charge or you need to plug in the garage, it could be a pump if you're pumping up your paddleboard, stuff like that. And then in this cupboard here you can see some stickers, and basically underneath that is where your freshwater tank is. So the stickers indicate what this black valve does. So on the left hand side, obviously open 2 full times, same in reverse to close it, and then you can travel with 20 litres of water or fill the tank up completely full. And the valve you need to use is this black one here. So like I said, if you want to close this valve to fill the tank completely full, twist it to the left 2 full times, that will close and get tight. You can fill the fresh water tank completely full. If you want to drain it completely empty, 2 full times to the right, and that will open the valve. Or if you want to drain the freshwater tank to a rough gauge of 20 litres, you can then just twist the valve a quarter turn. That will open the valve and a little bit, and then drain out any excess water to a rough gauge of 20 litres for travelling. And then here we have your freshwater fill. So that is how you fill your water up. Habitation key in here. Take this blue cap off, put the hose pipe in. When the water starts to come back out, or you see water coming underneath the motorhome, it will be from the overflow pipe, and that means your freshwater tank is completely full. You just need to make sure obviously you close that black valve on top. Here we are connected to mains hookup. So that is where you connect to for shore power, so when you're at campsite. So this is going to charge up your leisure batteries and give you a 230 volt on the sockets. And then here we have your toilet cassette. If you open that like so, you'll see you've got access to your toilet cassette. If you want to take this out to empty or clean, just need to lift this orange handle up, pull the cassette towards you, and that will then release. And say if we want to empty or clean this cassette, how we empty it is this orange nozzle on the left, twist it out to the left, take this grey cap off, and then to empty, tilt up the cassette. If you put your thumb on the button at the top, that lets air into the top of the cassette. So basically that is like a vacuum. If you hold the button down, the fluids will flow out a lot easier. Also, you can clean internally by opening the cassette blade manually. Hose pipe inside you can flush out as well. You can also put your chemicals or Thetford sachets in there too. Once you've cleaned, all you need to do is align it back up and then slide it back into place, and just make sure that this orange tab is down secure, so then in transit it's not going to move in or out while travelling. And then we've got some ventilation top and bottom for your fridge freezer, because this is on a three-way fridge, so that is for the gas. So that is everything externally. As you can see, this vehicle doesn't come with an awning. You can fit an awning, but currently it doesn't come with an awning as standard. So now we are going to go into the habitation area and go from there. Just before we go into the habitation, as you can see, we have got a fly screen. One thing to keep in mind if you have got the door open and the fly screen shut is if it's windy, just probably I would shut the door or at least remove the fly screen. As you can see, the bin will then potentially derail and damage the fly screen if the wind does catch hold of the habitation door. And now we are in the habitation area. So we'll start at the cab area. The main button I'm going to show you in the cab area is this button here. There's a little rocker switch, and basically if I turn that on, that will then turn on the radio. So you can listen to the radio when you are parked up. But one thing to keep in mind, because you do need to turn this on for the media to turn on when driving, is if you are not using the habitation after driving somewhere, you need to turn this switch off. If you leave that switch on and you've gone for a walk, the radio will still run and drain your vehicle battery. But if you are connected to mains hookup at campsite, you can turn the radio on because the mains hookup will charge the ledger battery and the vehicle battery. So it's a good little thing to have, because you can have obviously the radio on well in the habitation. As you can see, we've got driver and passenger swivel seats. Got a large table here which swivels around. All you need to do is release this bracket and then it will slide around and spin around as well. We've got some storage under here, just a little bit of storage. We've got two travel seats at the rear here, so you've got two travel seats. Under this bench seat, which we'll get to, is going to be where your Truma boiler is, and in the boiler, outside of the boiler, we have, it's called a frost protect valve, and that valve is where you need to shut or open if you want to drain the boiler, or shut if you want to fill the boiler with water, which we will get to. Here we have your 12-volt system. So this is your controls for the habitation. So this one here is your controls for the habitation. So the top right is your master on and off for the 12-volt system. Bottom right is your water pump. So you only turn your water pump on when you've got water in the system. Don't leave the pump on if the water is empty, because you could potentially burn out the motor. This one, the bottom right, is your external awning light. How I know that is because the light's on its side. Bottom left, press it. That will give you a rough gauge in the middle of your fresh water. Next one in the middle and left, press it. That will give you your vehicle battery level. And then the top left, habitation, that will give you your habitation battery level. Here there's a little green light with a plug socket. That means I am plugged into mains hookup and I am taking charge. If this green light doesn't come on when you plug in, there could potentially be a fault. Most of the time it is the campsite post, or it could be a faulty cable or a faulty post. Or the other option, it could be your main breaker in the motorhome has tripped, and I'll show you where that is when we get to it. So if you've got green light, that means you are connected, you're taking charge, and your 3-pin sockets will give you 230-volt power. As you can see up here, we've got two indications. This is flashing. This is your fresh water. How I know that is because it's got a nozzle open bit at the top. That means water can go in. It's flashing because it's empty. And then your grey waste is on the right hand side. How I know that is because the nozzle at the bottom, that means water can drain out. So that will flash as well if your grey waste is full. This comes with a Truma system. You'll get sent a separate link on the email how to use this control panel on your Truma heating and hot water. We have got light switches dotted around. We have got USB and Type-C charging sockets. So they will run off your 12-volt system, run off your ledger battery. We've got 12-volt socket there. So if you've got a 12-volt TV, you can plug it in and connect it to the bracket. And then 3-pin socket, again, only works on mains hookup. This little dome here is just your thermostat for the heating. So that is just taking the thermostat for the heating. You have got TV bracket, which I think you can get a 32-inch on there, swiveled sideways. We've got ambient lighting around, which is touch on and off. These cupboards, how you open them, you pull it gently and then it releases the mechanism, and then push them back in, they'll clip back into place. Here we have, in your kitchen area, we have 3-ring gas burner. So on your gas burner, one safety advice we do recommend is this glass cover. Leave the glass cover up after use of the stoves. The reason for that is if you've got the window open, just to let some fresh air in, if the cold air is hitting the back of the glass and the stove is still hot, if you put it down, you could potentially shatter it. So always leave that up after use, let everything cool down. Here we have your oven and grill. Got an igniter on the side, and that is your control for the oven and grill. And also you have got a bit of a heat plate, what you can push in and out. Got your kitchen sink. So now what we're going to do is prime our motorhome with water. So we're going to do this dry. Basically what we need to do is shut all the valves in the motorhome. So the first one we need to shut is your fresh water. So we can fill up the fresh water tank. We need to shut our grey waste. We need to shut our frost protect valve, which is under the bench seat, which I've not shown you yet, which we'll get to. So you need to shut all the drain valves in the motorhome. Once they are all shut, go to your control panel, turn on the control panel, and then turn on the water pump. And what will happen when you come to your tap, turn it to cold, open it up, and basically cold is on the left, sorry, and basically that will vent out any excess air in the pipework on the cold side. Once you get a steady flow of water on the cold side, you can shut the tap. Then what we need to do, we want to fill up our boiler with water so we can have hot water. How that works, we open on the hot side, it will vent out all the air again, but basically it's going to take water from the fresh water tank and fill up your boiler. Your boiler holds 10 to 12 litres of fresh water, and then from your boiler through the pipework to your tap. Again, once you get a steady flow, shut the tap and your water system is all primed, ready to use when you need. The only thing you do need to do is your hot water is not instant hot water. You do need to boil it, so which is controlled on that Truma control panel, which you will get a separate link again. Underneath the sink, we've got some pull-out drawers, storage in there, and then here we've got a large, tall fridge freezer, as you can see there. And if we want to turn this on, how we do that is press and hold the power button. That will light up. And as you can see, this is called a three-way fridge because we've got 3 ways of powering it. So as you can see, it's on A, which is automatically select. It'll auto change over, and it's got the plug symbol because I'm connected to mains hookup. So it's auto detected that I am on mains hookup. If I want to change this manually, I can press and hold, it will flash. I can go to mains hookup manually. I can go to battery. So the battery symbol is when the engine's running. That means it's keeping the fridge cool and split charging from the alternator. And then the last one is gas. So when you are off grid, you can put it on gas. So make sure you've turned on the gas cylinders for this to work. But if you leave it on A, it will automatically select. And then you've got a temperature at the end. So low is warmer and high is cooler. I'd always leave it on A, but like I say, remember when you unplug from mains hookup, it's always going to try go to gas next, unless you turn the engine on. And then obviously if you want it to run off gas, just make sure you remember to turn on your cylinders. To turn it off, press and hold the power button and it will then shut down. So now we're going to go towards the rear of the motorhome. So on the right hand side we have shower cubicle. You won't need to prime the pipework on this because once one tap is primed, it will just vent out any excess air. We have got a drying rack at the top which you can dangle down. So if you've got any wet gear or wet towels, you can dry them in here. On this side we have a dividing door which is used from the toilet. So we have got obviously your toilet here, and if you want to use the toilet, all you need to do is slide this blade open, and that opens the toilet cassette. After use, shut the blade so no smells come back up. In here we have got your toilet flush, so the blue button uses fresh water from the freshwater tank to swill the bowl. You do need your 12 volt system on for this to work because it pumps the water. And then to the left there's a little symbol just there, what looks like a toilet cassette, and that will light up orange/red when the toilet cassette is full. As you can see, we've got light switch in here, 3-pin socket, and then obviously we've got your basin as well in here. So we have got twin single beds in this, which convert into a large double/king size. So if you want to create that into a large double king size, you slide this out, you use that small bed ladder at the rear, infill the cushion, and then as you can see you've got a large bed space just there, which is great. We have got storage, hanging space under one bed, light switches for the rear as well, and shower cubicle. And then this side we have got again hanging space, but the only reason you need to come in here, apart from any stuff you've stored, this is where your 230 volt main breaker is. So this is where you need to check if the 240 volt is tripped. Like I say, if you're plugging at campsite, there's no green light, you can always check this as well. This will obviously trip for certain appliances, so the fridge could be on here because it can run off mains hookup. And then under the floor here, again, we just got some more storage. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to remove the cushions down here, and then I'll show you what the frost protect valve does for the boiler, how it shuts and opens. So as you can see, I've now got access to where the boiler is, under the bench seat for the travel seats. So the reason you will need to come down here is because of this black valve down below. So that is called a frost protect valve. And what that frost protect valve does, it protects your Truma boiler, which this is your Truma boiler here. And as you can see, it's a cylinder. So basically the frost protect valve, you need to shut this if you want to fill up the boiler with water. And how you do that is this diamond valve on top, twist it, and then there's a blue button at the bottom. Push the blue button in. Once the blue button stays in, that means the valve is completely shut. So when you prime the pipe work and you fill up your boiler with water, it's not going to drain out. If this valve is open, the water, when you're trying to prime the system, the water will just drain directly out and miss the boiler. It's a frost protect valve because if it triggers, basically if it feels like it's 6 degrees or less in the motorhome, if you've left it in storage and you forgot to open this valve, basically it will snap open automatically, the button will pop out, and any water in the boiler will drain out. Also, what I've just done there is that's how you manually open the valve if you want to manually drain it. So button in, that's how it's closed. If I want to manually drain it to empty myself, twist the valve, the button will pop out, all the water content will fall out of the boiler underneath the motorhome. So that is how you drain and fill up your boiler. Obviously you fill up by priming, pumping the water through the system, but if that is open, it's just going to miss the boiler and drain right out. Also, as you can see, we have got a drop down bed at the front of the motorhome. So this is a 4x4 travel, and to drop down this bed, all you need to do, turn on your 12 volt system, use this button, and the bed will drop down like so. And then there's a bed ladder on there to use to get up and down, and you have got some reading lights at the top as well. Once One thing to keep in mind is you can leave your quilt on and stuff like that, but take your pillars off. The reason we say that is because, one, obviously if your pillars are on, it might keep the drop down bed a bit lower, so you might bang your head more. But then two, the biggest one is because when the bed is trying to get to the top, basically it hits a trigger point to stop the bed, and if the pillars are on there and it can't hit that contact, it will squash the pillars and then basically blow one of the 12-volt fuses. So that is the instructional video complete of this brand new Laika Kosmo L409. If you have any more questions, leave a comment below, or you can always drop us an email or give us a call. We do have more of these available too.